Today, we are talking about stimming, autistic stimming. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to myself for completing everything that I needed to complete today without any reminders from my wife, Debbie. You know, now that I think of it, there's something that I need to get off my chest because this has been a little bit frustrating, a little bit of a sore spot. Lately, I've been feeling a little bit annoyed with all of the reminders that I've been getting from Debbie. Don't forget to eat, don't forget to drink, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't need the reminders. I've been trying to tell her, you don't have to remind me. I know what I'm doing and I will get it done. I'm fairly responsible when it comes to that sort of stuff. So thank you. Whew. Actually, just got a text message. Huh. Speak of the devil. It's from, guess who? Debbie. And, believe it or not, it's probably a reminder. Just watch. Hey, buddy. I noticed you were getting distracted before I left while you were preparing to shave. Just a reminder to finish shaving before you film. Have fun. Love you. If you'll excuse me for a second, I have something I need to do, but I will be right back in a few minutes. Okay, the first example of autistic stimming is hand flapping, and it might look something like this. Honestly, I personally don't do a lot of hand flapping. The only time I do it is when I'm really, really excited, and I don't do it very often. And when I do it, I usually will stop myself from doing it. And I think that instinct comes in because when I have done it in the past, it didn't go over so well. But I know a lot of autistic individuals do hand flapping pretty regularly, and it's really, really common with kids. I work with kids that when they get excited, they'll hand flap. When they get nervous or uncomfortable, they'll also hand flap. The second example of autistic stimming is rocking or swaying. And this is something that I do a lot. So sometimes when I'm sitting down, I'll do one of these. Let's get a little side angle, side view. Whoa, there it is. The other way that I rock or stim is when I'm standing. And I do this a lot of the times when I am excited. So I'll do this, for example, when I am out in nature in a beautiful scenic environment. And Debbie, I think, has captured this on video a few times because I didn't even know I was doing it. But she thinks it's pretty adorable. Okay, let me show you. But actually, I'll do it like this. My gosh, I feel excited just doing this. Third example is spinning. Spinning can look different though. There's a couple of ways that autistics use spinning for stimming. Spinning and stimming. One of the ways is just to spin in circles. Sometimes you'll see kids doing this a lot, just spinning in circles. If you ever see a child on a trampoline, it's an autistic child on a trampoline, it's pure joy because jumping is like this release. And even for adults, it's so therapeutic. But a lot of the times you'll see autistic children, when they jump, they'll spin as well. And they're doing that because they're super excited. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. So they'll spin this way. Sometimes they'll spin that way. Sometimes they'll start spinning one way and then they'll spin another way. Sometimes they'll just spin one way, but eventually they'll stop because they'll get too dizzy. Another way that autistic individuals use spinning to stim is they'll look at something that spins. So I've heard of examples of children loving the spin cycles of their washing or their dryer, and they'll just watch it spin. Sometimes the start of a engine propeller spins and then it gets faster and faster. It can be very, very therapeutic for autistic individuals. The fourth example is something that I do quite often and love very much. The fourth example of autistic stimming is called Echolalia. And this is one of my favorites, and it's something that I do pretty regularly. I do it every day, all the time. And what it is, it's saying certain things because you like the way the words or the sounds, and it feels really good in your mouth. So for me, for those of you that have watched my videos in the past, you'll know that my favorite word is shy. And I say I am shy a lot, but it's actually grown immensely now. I am shy. I have been shy. I was becoming shy. I was once had been becoming shy. I will be going to be coming too shy. And I feel a little bit shy. Am I shy? Are you shy? I have been shy. I was once a little bit too shy. The interesting thing about that is when I say it, I don't just say shy. Because look at it from this way. I am shy. Oh, I am shy. Yeah. I have been shy. Shy. It's like the back of my throat closes. I think it's really important for me to not just say the word. It has to feel exactly right with every part of my mouth and my throat. Sometimes it comes down to the speed, it comes down to the rhythm, it comes down to the feeling, and then it's the sound of it. So I'm looking for a very specific sound, and I'm looking for a very specific feeling in my mouth. And this is extremely self-soothing for me. It really helps calm me down. Sometimes I'll just start flapping it out. Shy! You know, if I haven't seen Debbie all day and she comes back in, she comes into the door, I'm really shy, and I'm going to let her know just how shy I am. Debbie, I'm shy. And it's a lot of shyness. And Debbie gets excited about it most of the time. Sometimes she'll have a lot of stuff that she's carrying, and it's been a little bit of a long day for her, and she's not super really ready for all of the shy that comes out. But she's going to get it anyway. The fifth example of stimming is finger tapping. So this can look a lot of different ways. You could just tap your finger on the table. I tap my finger against my skin sometimes one finger, sometimes two fingers. And, you know, a lot of people watching this are like, well, I finger tap and I'm not autistic. And that's absolutely true because everyone stims. Autistic people just tend to stim more and for different reasons. And we do it because we're often frequently overwhelmed. So it's how we cope with our environment. Can you see it? I just do this. I will tap it on the table. But I try not to tap too loud because I used to get in trouble at school for tapping too loud. So I've learned to tap quietly. But the quietest way for me to tap is to do it just like this. It's very hard to hear. But this is also soothing. Sometimes when I'm in a car and the driver isn't very good, and I've made a video about taxi and Uber drivers and how horrible that is for my autistic brain. Sometimes in the car, I'll squeeze my wrists like this, or I'll do a gentle tap like this, or I will throw up all over the back seat of the car. The sixth example of autistic stimming is pacing. And this is really interesting because I pace all the time. And I think some of this is a little bit of a factor of my ADHD, because what that means is if I'm involved in a challenging problem or I need to activate my brain higher level or even higher level because I need to do a lot with my brain, then I need to move because I don't do well just sitting. It's like the more my brain is chugging and building up steam, the more my body has to move. So I pace, and I do it a lot when I'm on the phone. I pace a lot on the phone. I'm pretty sure that every time I'm on the phone, I pace. And that ties into my ASD some because when I'm on the phone, even with people that I know really well, the only exception would be Debbie, I'm a little bit on alert with what I'm saying because it's kind of like I have to mask because autistic people will divulge a lot of information. We don't filter as well. What's the point of having words and feelings and thoughts if you're not allowed to share them? So weird. But that's just the way it is, apparently. Well, for me personally, I have to pay close attention to what I'm saying on the phone. And if that's going to happen, I need to move. Sometimes when autistic adults get overwhelmed, we pace. A lot of the times, too much happening. Just in my brain. But not necessarily to the point of a meltdown or to the point where I need to reset. I'll just pace. And it's helpful. You know, when I was younger and a little bit healthier, I would run. And running was very meditative to me. It was kind of like pacing. It would fall in that category of stimming. And when things got overwhelming, I would just throw on my running shorts and go out for a jog. And that would really, really help me. The seventh form of autistic stimming is pretty interesting and unique, and it is visual stimming. So what this is, looking at particular lights or objects or movement to help regulate feelings and emotions. One common object used for visual stimming are those circular tubes filled with water, and inside they put some cool things like glitter or a little soap, little magic fairy dust. I don't know what else they put in there. Little sprinkles. You put it on the table and you flip it over and it just, it's all there. And you just stare at it. I just found this one out recently for me as a visual stimming option. I love to take baths. I take baths pretty regularly. So baths help me reset. Baths help me calm down. And also baths help prepare me for my nighttime routine. So Debbie gets me bath bombs to help, or like Epsom salts and those kinds of things. But recently she got me one of these bath bombs that just was all kinds of scientific awesomeness. I unpacked the bath bomb and I put it in the bathtub. And when I put it in the bathtub, molecular compounds started to, everything, atoms, ionic pressure. There was just all kinds of chemistry that happened inside the water. And the water changed colors. I was mesmerized by that, but it gets better. Thank you so much, Debbie. After the bath bomb started to fizz all over the bathtub, I noticed that there was glitter inside. The water changed to this midnight blue, and it was just gorgeous blue. It's actually a similar color that I used in my office, but this one was a little bit darker, kind of mysterious. I looked deep into the water and I saw the movement of the glitters. I was mesmerized. I could not focus on anything else. A little embarrassing because I'm taking my bath and Debbie must have done her little, hi buddy, and her knock, and then sometimes she'll come in. I didn't even know. I had no idea because I was, so she comes in and she just sees me staring into nothing and is talking to me, and I can't register that anything's happening. So she was a little bit, taken off guard. But now she understands, especially after watching this video. She'll know exactly why I didn't hear her knock and why I didn't hear her talk and why I was so on the water and the glitter. Oh my God, it was... You know what? If you're autistic, you should try this. Go get a bath bomb that has rich, deep colors and glitter and sit in the bath, the warm, soothing water, and watch the sparkles. It's like the midnight sky. You're sitting in the midnight sky. That's another thing that I look at. When I was in Dingle, Ireland with my wife, Debbie, we would look into space. It was so soothing to me. It got to be a little bit problematic because I would stare so long standing up that I would get neck cramps. My neck would hurt and I would get tension. But I didn't know until after. Debbie was like, it's really cold and I'm worried about your neck. You should come inside. And I'm just like, But she was right. Tremendous amount of pain afterward. So the way you solve that is you just lie flat on your back and you look up at the stars. But that's visual stimming too. The 8th example of autistic stimming is humming or singing. And this is interesting because I recently did a short video about this when I was watching the National Geographic. Because dun 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 dun. I mean, how can you not sing that? Dun 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 dun. But a lot of the times it's there, and when I'm not feeling good or I'm just I'm having that it's kind of that stage where I don't feel great, I'm feeling a little bit too much, a little bit too hard squeezing on my brain. Sometimes I'll just start humming songs, and the songs can last anywhere between a day to a week, a month, and I just keep doing the same thing. And sometimes it's fun because I'll hum it and Debbie will be like, oh my God, I had that song stuck in my head too. I'm like, yes. But I'm doing it for a different reason. And I am shy. The Coca-Cola song. I hate commercials unless they're funny and good. But that Coca-Cola, it's just been in there. I beatbox with my mouth, which I don't know why I do that. The 9th example of autistic stimming is fidgeting with objects. Perfect. Because... oh man, oh my goodness. These Nido cubes have single-handedly saved my life. I take these things everywhere with me. Recently, I just got my hair cut. I've also made a video about hair salons as being one of the worst places for autistic people. They're horrible. But anyway, I was getting my hair cut, and every time I go get my hair cut, I always have my Nido cube. Debbie will remind me, don't forget your cube, don't forget your Nido. And these things help a lot because getting your hair cut is not a fun experience. There's a lot of things happening. It's overwhelming for me. And squeezing this just really makes a lot of it go away. Anyway, these things are awesome. There's so many different fidget toys. I also have an Ono roller that I really, really like. I actually have many different Ono rollers because they have different weights and different feelings. Sometimes I'll take my Ono roller and I'll rub it on my face. And I don't know why, but when I need to do that, it's the best feeling ever. I don't do it very often because I don't feel like doing it very often. But when I do feel like doing it, I need to do it. So I'll do it. This is my absolute favorite fidget toy because it feels so good and it never gets old or tiring. Sometimes when I'm at work or in a meeting, I'll have one of these. Most of the time when I'm meeting, it's with people who know me, so they don't even mind. My goddaughter comes over and we have a Nido squeezing party. She's 5 and she loves Nido cubes. So we'll squeeze these things together. I remember that when I was at the hair salon one time, she asked me, hey, Chris, why do you have a Nido cube? Why do you squeeze that thing all the time? I told her, oh, that's easy. I have autism. And sometimes I get overwhelmed with things like noises, sounds, or people touching my body or being near me. And so what I do when I feel a little bit uncomfortable with that is I'll squeeze this little guy because he's my buddy. And then I feel so much better. And she's like, I want to squeeze one too. Anyway, so we'll squeeze those. And she loves all the different colors. So do I. The 10th example of autistic stimming is rubbing or scratching. This one's interesting because I do this a lot too. I'll rub my fingers on my hair or through my hair. Sometimes I'll just spin because I like the way that feels. A friend of mine who's autistic likes to take her hair, and she'll take her hair and she will paint her face. That's what I call it. You're painting your face. And it's because she likes the way her hair feels on her face. Sometimes when I get overwhelmed or worked up to an agitated state, to a place where it doesn't feel good, I'll scratch. I scratch all the time, a lot. Sometimes it's because I feel itchy, but a lot of the times it's not because I'm itchy. It's because I just need to get it out. So I just scratch. But I try not to scratch too hard because then people will think I work with lions. You know what? Okay, so I said 10 examples, but I'm going to do a little extra one at the end because this one just became real for me recently when I was visiting a teacher and I opened up her closet and I saw how she had organized her objects on the shelf and in particular baskets. And I had a little chit chat with her about it because I thought it was really interesting and unique. I wanted to get inside of her brain what was going on. And she told me after a class that was, a little bit stressful, what she would do is she would go in to the back of her classroom where this shelf was, this container was, and she would pull out objects and then sort them in a particular order. And she said oftentimes she would organize them from items that were hardest to softest. Sometimes she would organize them by color. Sometimes she would organize them by size. But this process of lining things up and organizing them helped calm her down between classes. So I thought that was really unique. For me, I don't do that very often, but I like looking at things on a shelf that are nice and orderly, and it makes me feel calm. But I don't necessarily think that I use it as a stimming technique. But there are autistic individuals that do. So there you have it, 11 examples of autistic stimming. Now, of course, I missed some because there's so many ways to stim. So your job is to add all of the ones that I missed in the comment section below. If you don't feel like doing that, then add what your favorite form of stimming is, because I would love to hear about it. You know what? I'm so excited that I made it through this video that I feel like I'm going to do a few rounds of stimming on my own. So if you'll excuse me, I have some stimming I need to catch up.